Hey, welcome back. You're watching Liquid Lunch on Biz TV. Lots of great things going on in the markets today as the Dow continues to rage this morning. NASDAQ up 183. Tech stocks on the fly up even more on a percent gain than the Dow. NASDAQ up almost 2% today. That's a big day for the NASDAQ. Above 27,000 is good news for all you out there who are buying into this market. I would stay nimble and careful with your portfolio here because, as I have mentioned many times on this show, the government back in March and April started inseminating the market with digital cash. We actually created trillions of dollars of money that was pumped into these markets, and I think it's like over inseminated and it needs like a colonic. It needs a full clean out. We got to get all that artificial stimulus out of the markets, and then we can have a nice clean out. You know, it's like when you're all clogged. You got to blow your nose like an animal and then get it all out of there, and then you could breathe. Is that a good analogy, the blow your nose? That's pretty disgusting if you think about it. But anyway, colonic. Nico likes colonic. I like the colonic too because it tells you what I'm talking about. You got to get all this out. Okay, and then you feel nice and fresh. It's like when you take NyQuil, the next day you're still like groggy. You got to run, sweat, get it out of your system. And I think the market is going to clean out one time. I've been stuck on like 19,000. But the more strength it gains here in the mid 20,000s, 26,000, if it gets 27,000, we could, kind of just pass it like a gallstone and then boom, go, to the next level. You never know. Sometimes you get the gallstone and you pass it. Other times they got to go in there and take out the whole gallbladder. So, I hope we don't take the gallbladder out of the market, but things are going okay for today. I'll keep you posted on that. Bitcoin looking good. The cancel culture, woke, all this other crap, okay? Great strides in the Sports Illustrated department. They unveiled their cover, the new cover of the Sports Illustrated Swimsuit edition, which happens to be the most widely read Sports Illustrated every year, the Swimsuit edition. And I guess a lot of men are Sports Illustrated subscribers, and they put girls in bikinis, which is an old trick. My good friend Carla Marino, you know her because she's been on the show many times on Women Wednesday. She's a great woman business owner. She's also a philanthropist. She does animal rescue with her charitable organization, the Near and Far Animal Foundation. And Carla is also quite the designer. She started her own line of custom bikinis like 20 years ago. She's been in business ever since. And she's been featured in Sports Illustrated many times. Her bikinis and, a small businesswoman from Staten Island to have your designs on Sports Illustrated swimsuit models, that's like a huge achievement. We're going to have Carla here tomorrow to follow up on this story. But breaking news, the first ever transgender swimsuit model is going to be unveiled in this year's bikini swimsuit edition. And say hello to Valentina Sampaio. She is, or he is, or they are. I don't know. What's the what are the proper pronouns now? What do we call a person like this? She.
He's a she now.
Is it a he or a she? It's a she is. Okay. Okay. So she's transitioned. You're telling me. Okay, so she's
transitioned.
Beautiful. I mean, if you ran into this young lady right here in a bar, you wouldn't think for 1 minute that at some point she was a man. And great strides for Sports Illustrated to open their minds. This isn't as woke as you would think, but a few years ago, they started putting larger women in, which I thought was a nice thing to do to show that, like, you don't have to get, all skinny and anorexic just to get in the Sports Illustrated model. So Sports Illustrated continues to expand their mind right down to Valentina Sampaio, who is a transitioned female, and she's the Rookie of the Year in this year's 2020 swimsuit edition. And model, actress, former Miss Universe Olivia Culpo is also featured on the cover this year. She's a pretty one, and she's, I believe she's a woman, right? She's not a Olivia Culpo's Jess? Yes, Jess is shaking her head. Yes, she doesn't want to talk today. She was on air for a while the other day, and she was getting texts from her mother to get out of the studio as quick as possible. But we had some fun. I think this is actually a piece of inclusiveness that's good to see. You know what I mean? And hey, what the heck? On Liquid Lunch, we are flying the rainbow flag at all time. I don't care. We don't care what you are. LGBTQIA. WXYZ, LMNOP, all that. It doesn't matter. It's all good here, okay? We like Democrats, we like Republicans. We like men, we like women, we like everything in between. We are the equal opportunity show. And even though I get crazy sometimes and people send me all these things, I'm a sexist, I'm a racist, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm the other thing, the evidence of us is the body of our work, and we've had every single thing you can imagine, including not one, but two transvestites who have appeared on this show, business people. The one lady had a one-woman show and talked about her life and the history of transitioning from a man to a woman. And these are issues that are important to a lot of people. I am sweating like a terrorist today. I got a suit, tie, the air conditioner's on, the sun's blazing, and when you get a suit and a tie in the house, it's just no AC can keep you cold enough, I think. We're going to talk a little later about Puerto Rico. There's some fake news out there that Donald Trump was trying to sell Puerto Rico, which is a complete joke. Joe Connor's going to be here a little later on. Joe Connor's dad was killed in a terrorist bombing, a domestic terror incident here in the U.S. at Francis Tavern in Lower Manhattan. Okay, and the fingerprints of those who were responsible for the death of Joe Connor's dad are all over this Black Lives Matter movement. And in segment 5 today, I'm going to talk about the greatest news I have heard in quite some time. My dear friend and American patriot Roger Stone had his sentence commuted by Donald Trump. And yes, after all this time of him being unfairly prosecuted and persecuted, the court system failed him. The jury forewoman was an anti-Trumper. She hated him. She lied to get on the jury. The judge gagged him, and he wasn't allowed to speak. He had his First Amendment rights taken away from him. And finally, when he's almost exhausted all options, President Trump comes in and saves one of his friends who was only targeted for being Donald Trump's friend. So congratulations to you, Roger. I've been praying for you. I've been doing all I can. You're still my profile pic on my Facebook, which I'm gonna have to change now because it says free Roger Stone, and you're now free. So, but we got to get Roger Stone on here, Nico. That would be nice, you know. I'll reach out to him. I spoke to him on text the other day, but he's probably overwhelmed with well-wishers, and we'll talk about that a little more in segment 5 along with Puerto Rico. But next, if you're thinking about Joe Biden as your presidential candidate, guess what? He's coming for your pocketbook because he's got his new tax plan out, and it's going to cost you a lot of money if this Momo becomes president. We'll break it down with Grover Norquist from Americans for Tax Reform right after this.